Welcome to This Explainer. You know that awful, familiar frustration of a gorgeous bouquet that just starts drooping way too soon? Well, we're going to transform that into an exact science today. We're unlocking some surprisingly simple techniques to dramatically extend the life of your floral displays. Let's just jump right in. Okay, so let's dive into this incredibly relatable heartbreak. You bring home this stunning, vibrant arrangement, and I swear, barely 48 hours later, it's already looking totally sad and wilted. It feels like a mystery, right? But extending their life really just comes down to mastering some basic biology. There's a whole lineup of the usual suspects behind this early wilting. We're talking dirty water, bacterial growth, harsh direct sunlight, high temperatures, a lack of nutrients, and just improper stem cutting. But spoiler alert here, almost all of these biological and environmental culprits are completely under your control once you know what to look for.
So, our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to build your ultimate flower-saving toolkit. We'll hit the biology of wilting, then move through 3 chronological action phases: perfect prep, avoiding the danger zones, and playing the long game. And finally, we'll look at the absolute best blooms to buy.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the biology of wilting, and what it means to live life without roots.
What's really fascinating here is the exact vulnerability of a flower the literal second it's severed from the earth. I mean, once it's cut, it entirely loses its natural lifeline. No more nutrients or water from the soil. Deprived of that root system, your cut flower is essentially fighting a full-on war against bacteria in the vase water. These bacteria multiply so fast, forming a physical blockade at the base of the stem, effectively choking off the flower's ability to drink. It's crazy. It's actually dying of thirst while sitting in a pool of water.
Which brings us to Section 2, Phase 1, perfect prep, setting up for success. Step 1 is absolutely all about the cut. Using a really sharp knife or scissors, you want to remove 1 to 2 inches from the bottom of the stem. The golden rule? You got to cut at a 45-degree angle. This angled cut is absolutely crucial because it increases the surface area for water absorption and, maybe more importantly, stops the stem from sitting flat, like a little rubber suction cup, right against the bottom of the glass. Next up, you have to strip the stems. Look, I know those submerged green leaves might look pretty swimming around in your vase, but they rot rapidly. Leaving them attached essentially turns your water into a bacterial breeding ground, which just accelerates the wilting of the actual flower up top. So rule of thumb, keep only the upper leaves that sit safely above the waterline. Now, those little commercial packets that come with your flowers, they're great. They provide sugar for energy, an acidifier for water absorption, and an antibacterial agent. But hey, if you don't have them, you can play botanist right in your own kitchen. Just mix 1 teaspoon of sugar, a few drops of lemon juice, and a tiny drop of household bleach. It completely replicates that chemical balance to feed the flowers and fight off that nasty bacteria. All right, moving on to Section 3, Phase 2, the danger zones and those sneaky environmental assassins. So you've prepped perfectly, right? But now we have to find the ideal spot. And here's something that sounds totally counterintuitive, since living plants love the sun. Avoid direct sunlight. For cut flowers, direct sunlight, heating vents, and AC drafts are an absolute death sentence. Without roots to pull up endless moisture, the heat simply dehydrates them from the inside out. You really want cool rooms with indirect, gentle light and good ventilation. This brings us to a mistake almost everyone makes, which involves ethylene. It's a completely invisible gas released by ripening fruits that literally speeds up the aging process of flowers, causing those petals to drop way sooner than they naturally would. So putting your beautiful vase right next to the kitchen fruit bowl, big mistake. Specifically, keep your arrangement far away from the top ethylene-producing fruits: apples, bananas, pears, and avocados. Think of it like a forced long-distance relationship. Keep your flowers in the living room and your fruit in the kitchen if you want those vibrant colors to actually stick around. To keep that fresh look for weeks instead of just a few days, we enter Section 4, Phase 3, the long game, focusing on routine care. You've got to commit to a strict 48 to 72-hour refresh cycle. So on day 3 and then again on day 6, pull the flowers out, snip a small portion off the bottoms to clear any new biological blockages, wash the vase thoroughly with soap, and refill it with fresh, room-temperature water. And what about misting? For the delicate divas of the floral world, we're talking roses, hydrangeas, orchids. A really light daily misting directly on the petals helps maintain that gorgeous, dewy freshness. It mimics a gentle morning dew and keeps those sensitive petals perfectly hydrated. Here's a fantastic pro tip directly from the industry. Ever notice professional florists keep their inventory in large coolers? There's a reason for that. Cool temperatures inherently slow down the biological aging process of the bloom. Giving your arrangement a slight temperature drop by just moving it to a cooler room overnight works absolute wonders for its longevity. Okay, section 5, the reward. Let's look at the best blooms and the real benefits of all this care. We want to identify which flowers actually give you the best return on your investment. When you combine our prep and placement steps with naturally hardy flowers, the results are just incredible. Varieties like carnations, chrysanthemums, alstroemeria, orchids, lilies, and sunflowers, they all boast a potential lifespan of 1 to 3 weeks. By picking these specific types at the store, you're setting yourself up for long-lasting visual success right out of the gate. Ultimately, utilizing these science-backed techniques means you aren't just saving flowers. You're getting a much better visual appearance, you're significantly reducing organic waste, and you're keeping money in your wallet by not having to replace your arrangements constantly. It's a total win for your home and a win for your budget. Armed with this structured toolkit, from the perfect angled cut to the magic of homemade flower food to avoiding that sneaky fruit bowl, you now have the absolute power to dramatically extend their lifespan. So the next time you look at a bouquet, ask yourself, is it just a fleeting gift or a living chemistry experiment you now control? Which beautiful bouquet will you rescue next? Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and happy arranging.